Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Guy with a Plant. In today's episode, I'm going to repot this little fella, or rather it's not so little anymore. This is my Monstera Thai Constellation, which has been with me for the last 2.5 years. It has definitely overgrown its current pot, and look at all the massive roots which are literally pulling the whole plant out of this pot. So yeah, this is definitely a long overdue plant chore, and this keeps toppling over because of the weight and the way that it has grown. So join me in this video and let's give this little monster a new home. So as you can see, this new leaf has just unfurled and it hasn't even hardened off. So I'm a little bit concerned whether should I be disturbing the roots. But I can't delay anymore because this new leaf is definitely smaller than the previous leaves. As you can see, this is really very big, and this one as well. So these two are the last two most recent leaves. And I think this is only about 3/4 of the size, so I think it's definitely not doing well. And these are the older leaves. I think only two are the original leaves, this one as well as this one, which is quite burnt because it got some direct sun previously. My bad. And yeah, this one is not looking really good because it has a lot of sectorial variegation, and as you know, they tend to turn brown after a while, especially if the watering isn't very consistent. Yeah, it doesn't really like to be wet, so I try not to overwater this. And it's in this potting medium that is actually quite dense, even though there's a lot of perlite, but yeah, it's not those very loose and chunky aeroid mix. This is the original potting medium 2.5 years back, so it is also time to refresh this and give it the new potting medium. The pot is a terracotta pot, so it will wick out water pretty quickly. So I water this fella about every 10 to 14 days, and it seems to be working well, except that it needs a bigger home. And I will also give it a moss pole, and I want this to be growing upwards instead of horizontally, which is not ideal. Oh, I want to show you something. There is this new growth point here that's on the new leaf. So that's really exciting. Hope the repotting will not affect the new leaf in any way. Keeping my fingers crossed. So as I mentioned, I got this 2.5 years ago. In fact, on New Year's Eve, on the 31st of December 2020, that's the COVID era. So I was on the phone and I actually got a notification there is a one-day sale at this plant shop that I used to frequent. And everything is going at 50%, so I decided to pop by and take a look. And I found this beautiful Thai Constellation, which is not exactly the smallest at that point in time, but it's definitely way smaller than what it is now. Over the years, it kept giving me a new leaf every 2 or 3 months, which I was quite surprised because I thought the Thai Constellation is a slow growing plant. But of course, I've lost some leaves as well. And let me show you some photos of the growth over the year. So I have taken a photo end of course 2020, which was the day I bought it, and this was 1 year later, 31st of December 2021, as well as the latest, which is end of 2022. So you can see it has grown a lot over the 2.5 years. So there are several videos which I've made to document the unfurling of some of the new leaves. You can check them out. This little fella has endured different conditions because it has been in 3 different apartments as I have moved twice. So sometime during the end of January, I noticed there are several leaves, particularly the older ones, are turning yellow and browning as well. So upon closer checks, they are actually showing signs of trip attack. I had to cut them off. I think in total I removed about 4 leaves, which are mainly the older ones. So the thrip issue is under control now. But I also realized that just like my green Monstera deliciosa, this is also pretty prone to scale insects. So I got to really be on top of my pest management. Okay, it looks as if I'm going to dismember a body, but I got to take precaution. Not to dirty the floor because this is timber decking and I do not want any dirt or soil falling through the cracks. So there's double protection with the potting mat right in the middle. So let's take a look at the items that I will need. This is the new pot. It's way much bigger than the original pot. I think it's almost, I would say, double the size. This looks like it's about 40 cm across. And there's 3 big drainage holes here, which I am going to cover up with this mesh to make sure that the potting medium doesn't fall through. Now, of course, I have this potting mix here. I'm not sure whether is this enough. There's 2 packs of 5 liter. This is the soilless mix for aeroids, which I've used before. So there is orchid bark, perlite, Palmer's zeolite and compost. So this is definitely a very loose potting medium. And I have this cocoa coir pole. Yeah, I'm sitting here in my balcony and I'm perspiring buckets. Okay, let's remove the plant. Okay, let me try to loosen the soil first before I attempt to get this out. Okay, look at how the aerial roots have toured themselves into the pot. Yeah, so this is really very packed. I've got to be careful not to break the leaves as I try to maneuver the roots. I think it's going to come up pretty easily. Whoa. Well, look at this massive root ball. Okay, I'll try to remove as much of the soil as possible. Look, the roots have grown through this mesh which they put at the base of the pot. I've got to carefully remove this piece of mesh. I'll just cut this off. Not the root, I mean the mesh. Actually, there's not much of the potting medium left. Not a lot anyway. There are many roots. And look at these super long ones. Okay, I've removed most of the soil of the potting medium. And yeah, let's move all these massive roots into a bigger home. First, let's take a look at the roots. Whoa. Okay, so this is how the potting mix looks like. Really chunky. Okay, I'm going to put in the moss pole. Okay, I'm going to try to put the main stem against the pole and try to straighten the plant. I'm not sure if you can see, but let me try to move the camera nearer. So this is the main stem where all the aerial roots will come out from. So I will make it lean against this pole. And I know the leaves will be growing in a very awkward manner, but I think they should be able to reorientate themselves once they get used to this. Alright, this is 10 liters of potting medium and it's not quite enough. I'll need to go out and get probably another pack or two. So I've fastened this plant to the pole with this jute string, so it should be pretty stable. Okay, it's the next day, and as you can see, the roots are still poking out. The potting medium is definitely not enough, so I got myself a new bag. Right, so this is finally done. I've straightened this Thai Constellation against the pole, as you can see from the stem here, rather than it drooping downwards. But by doing so, the leaves are now in a very awkward position. They are facing all directions. And these older leaves used to be facing downwards, but now it's all in different directions. So because of the adjustment, this new leaf is now facing or rather lying like horizontally. I think it should be able to right itself after a while. So the leaves will look more natural as it starts to slowly adjust themselves, probably towards the light source. Okay, now it's still looking really awkward. I'll give you guys an update in another 1 or 2 months time to see if there's any difference in the orientation of the leaves. And I've also tied the plant with these strings here. I've given it some water yesterday, but because I've added new potting medium, so this part is really dry. I'll give it some more water later. Let's look at the pot. Yeah, this is a really nice looking planter. I got it for quite cheap. For this size, I only paid like $10, 10 Singapore dollars. Yeah, so that is quite a good deal. I'm going to take this opportunity to clean the leaves with this neem oil solution, hopefully to keep the pests away. So thank you for watching this rather back-breaking episode of repotting this giant Monstera Thai Constellation. If you'd like to be updated of its progress, do consider subscribing to my channel and also hit the notification bell. I'll definitely let you know if this new leaf make it. Meanwhile, take care. I shall see you again in my next episode. And remember to show your plants some love.